bad we smell.
We take turns choosing the games that we review.
Even Mario's Hotel. Come on, characters, nobody likes you. Let desire fuel your confidence.
Are you ready for our Game Weekly?
Come on, we talk it out.
At Bethlehem, Catholic education will last a lifetime. And with tuition assistance and transportation available across the Lehigh Valley and beyond, it's a lot closer than you may realize. Take pride in achievements that exceed your limits. Fucking backhoe! My God! Budweiser. What next? Take the first step of an unforgettable journey at beccahigh.org. Bethlehem Catholic is an experience beyond the classroom.
Oh, that's the wrong thing. PAC-MONTH! This, of course, is We Talk Games, brought to you by Bethlehem Catholic High. Yes. Bethlehem Catholic High. Fucking Budweiser truck. What next? Hey, pal, I am Wiggly.
Hey.
On the telephone is Kyle VonKubik.
That's me.
In the booth, Don Fennon.
Hey, Don.
Don is back.
Scarfing down them power pellets.
He likes them. Hey, pal.
Yeah.
Are you ready to get your jack snapped?
I think that happened when I was younger, but sure.
All right. Turn your head and cough. Here it comes. Snapjack by one of our favorite companies, Universal, 1981.
Unsung heroes of the arcade.
You ain't kidding.
They put out such great games as Mr. Do and Ladybug. Cheeky Mouse. Cheeky Mouse isn't even that good, but I like Cheeky Mouse. It's fun. And they also put out Snapjack.
And Universal also famous for their movies. Did you ever hear of them?
Not the same company.
Universal Movies? Did you watch that Emerald Palace?
No.
Oh, it's like the Wizard of Oz, except that it's like the Walking Dead and Wizard of Oz.
You're talking about the new television show?
Yeah, Emerald Palace.
Yeah, it's fucking horrible. I don't like it.
I like it, but all I know is there's gay men around the world are biting lead pipes and jumping off the roof.
My wife and I tried getting into this show, and we're not digging it. But it did push me to read the books.
Oh.
Which are vastly different from the film.
And not only that, Wizard of Oz and Alice in Wonderland were the first motion pictures that most people did back in the late 1800s, early 20th century. Yeah. And not only just the Wizard of Oz, but also King Scarecrow and all that. We didn't have the Star Wars Enterprise and stuff. I mean, I don't know much about the Flash, Tarzan, and Gordon characters, but I do know that Snapjap.
Whoa.
Those Japs, they just snap on
Chill,
you.
Popeye.
All right, Donald Duck. Let's talk about Jack Snap. Snapjack by 1981. In the year Universal.
Universal, arcade company, had the coolest arcade cabinets. I really did, doing some research on this game and other Universal games. I feel like their arcade cabinets for their era were the most attractive looking arcade cabinets because they had like a back glass above the screen for all of their games. It was really something unique, and I really want to push people to go out, Google image it, check out Universal's arcade cabinets because they are so vastly different than their competitors at the time. They made a lot of use of the artwork, not so much on the side. They didn't have much side artwork, but between, I guess you'd call it the bezel, but it's not really the bezel artwork because it was the bezel artwork, and then above that was a back glass and the marquee above that. And really, all these cabinets are something that you should check out and look at.
Agreed. Egregiously.
Yes.
PKSTO P6RTHH at M70N5TR33T826IX. That is the password for something, and you can get into that.
Wow.
Let's talk about Snapjack 1981 by Universal. We first have to lay out what the game is.
It's Scramble meets Pac-Man. That's it. See you next week.
True, but that really doesn't describe what it is. So it's this weird guy car. that has a mouth. It's Speed Buggy that's all mouth.
Wiggly, you're familiar with the Apple II?
I am.
Number munchers or math munchers?
There you go, math munchers.
That's what that car looks like.
You're right.
Yeah.
And all the kids know math munchers.
Right. So if you remember math munchers, that's what your avatar looks like in this game. Only he's a car, evidently, the strangest car I've ever seen. And instead of having feet, he has wheels, and he's perpetually moving forward.
He has Inspector Gadget wheels that makes him move up and down, and he waka-wakas around. But you don't eat anything, do you?
You do, because there's pellets on the
That's
screen for points, but fuck those pellets, dude. There's too many obstacles in the way.
That's right. I forgot that you eat the pellets and they're different colors and everything. Let's get into a little bit of making mechanics now that we've perfectly described the game.
Yeah,
this one scrolls, so we're scrolling like Scramble, like you mentioned by Konami. It scrolls to the right, and your little car face on stilts tries to navigate through these caverns and different things by moving up and down. You gotta dodge those
teapots.
Indeed.
That's legit. I'm not making that up.
We won't have anything to talk about.
You're right.
So let's get into exactly what this is. When I first started playing this, I said, this is Moon Patrol. Little did I know that Moon Patrol came out a year later. So I was wrong. Irem did not copy off of Snapchat, but it feels a lot like Snapchat. I am not going to be able to say this name this late at night. But
it's 3:00 in the morning.
It is. That's why you're listening to this now at 11 p.m. today. Cosmic Avenger was brought out by Universal in 1981, the same year that they brought this out. And Vanguard by SNK also came out in 1981. And they're very similar in that you go through a cavern with a little shooter spaceship. As you mentioned, Scramble. I have a feeling that both Cosmic Avenger by Universal and Vanguard by SNK somehow were able to rip off Scramble by Konami, even though they all came out in the year 1981.
Yeah, because we don't really know the months when these games came out.
Even if Vanguard and Cosmic Avenger came out before Scramble, I have a feeling somebody was, sneaking in a Konami at night.
Passing the files to one another.
They definitely had a cleaning crew in their pocket.
Sure.
So basically, that's what it is. You're really playing Scramble or Cosmic Avenger or Vanguard as you're going through this thing, except that instead of a little spaceship, you're this math muncher.
Yeah.
This carpet muncher.
Kind of Pac-Man type guy until you hit the power pellet, and then some Baraduke shit happens.
Let's talk about the game. As you scroll from the left to the right, it starts out pretty easy. You make your little guy go up and down and try to get some of the pellets. But then shit starts coming at you pretty darn quick.
Yes.
As the environment is scrolling from the right to the left, as you're scrolling through this cave, you can also move your character slower and faster so you could get to the very head of the cave and the very back of the cave. That's what your spaceships could do too, but I still think that's a pretty interesting mechanic that they would put into a game like this. But then again, I also think that this was just a reskinning of Cosmic Avenger. And Universal said, how can we make more money? I know, make something for the kids. Okay, make the spaceship Pocket Muncher.
Yeah. What's an interesting choice was that originally I was concerned about having my legs hit because the character can go up and down. So when the character goes to the top of the screen, it has very long legs, and when it goes to the bottom of the screen, it has very short legs. I thought that if my legs were hit, I was hit. But no, that's not the case. I can actually have enemies pass underneath my legs. And later on, you find that enemies who also have long legs, you can pass underneath them.
Yes.
So you can actually go through the legs, which I think that was a good choice, an interesting choice. But this game is very difficult because there's a lot of things happening on the screen between the enemies that are trying to bite you, the hazards of the cavern itself with the stalagmites and stalactites. If you hit into those, you die. And then the random sort of occurrences between big anglerfish and fireballs shooting at you. This game is off the rails bizarre.
It is.
But I like a lot of the choices. But it's very difficult.
Some of our listeners might not know Scramble, and shame on you. You might not know Darius, so shamey on you.
Think side-scroller shooter,
Indeed.
Horizontal.
But what you have to realize is that you have these things that are like mountains on the bottom, and then you have these mountainy type of things on the top. So you have to duck underneath the mountainy type of things on the top. That's what we were talking about, stalactites and stalagmites. Right. But they're smoother. They're not as sharp ending. Okay. Yeah, they're more like paths, hills, but they're mountainy hills. So you have these rolling things on the bottom as well. As your character goes up and down, you have to realize that his wheels are going to roll over top the hills at the bottom of this. So you're trying to constantly compensate for how you're being pushed around by the stages, and also how the different enemies are coming from in back of you and coming from in front of you. And there's a lot of threading the needle in this one. And as you said, should I try to go under these 3 sets of me's coming at me? Mm-hmm. Because the 3 sets of me's that are coming at me are moving sort of like a serpentine. So you're scared of their legs. They're also like undulating up and down. So you have to get the timing of it right so that you could get under them at the point where they won't undulate on top of you and poop on you and kill you. Do you turn into some type of flat thing? I can't recall. What happens to you when you die? You get sick?
You have, you turn green and you have a little halo over your head.
Oh, Snapjack. What will you think of next? What kind of fucking...
The game really is bizarre. There's a lot of bizarre choices.
What kind of fucking horrific life must you lead as this freak of nature?
And I don't know if you felt the same way, but I had notes of those specific stages in Mario Brothers and Mario Brothers 3 where the stage would move. You know those specific stages where the stage would move on its own and you had to try to keep up with the stage?
Right.
The game mechanic felt a lot like that, where the stage is moving and I can slow myself down, but the stage is still going to move. Mm-hmm. But I can back up to try to give myself some space from the enemies, but that's not always the right choice to do that either, because of the way things come in.
From back of you, in front of you, and I got to tell you, I'm having a hard time now thinking of what Snapjack looks like, because I just feel so sorry for him. He's like the fucking Elephant Man. Snapjack, how can you go out in public, Snapjack? Honest to God.
He is some sort of abomination.
The mask Cher is going to come up and try... and say, Snapjack, don't worry. You can do anything anybody else can.
Snapjack, don't worry. If I could turn back time.
Snapjack has freckles all of a sudden. His big red curly wig. His fucking clown wig. Oh, Snapjack.
He was moonstruck.
Let's talk about other things that came out in 1980, a year before this. Berserk, Rally X, Missile Command, Space Panic by Universal, Pac-Man, Battlezone, Star Castle. None of which have anything to do with Snapjack. It's like, why did you happen, Snapjack?
Snapjack, and I agree with you that it seems like a reskinning of another game. Like, they're like, Pac-Man's popular, so let's make this spaceship look like some sort of monster that's gobbling things up. Mm-hmm. But that has so very little to do with the overall mechanic. This is very much a dodge mechanic. Mm-hmm. It's constantly dodging obstacles and enemies to make your way through the game. And what's interesting about this game, particularly because of the year 1981, this is one of those games where you can keep plunking quarters in and continue from where you died.
That's right. That's right.
Now, not a lot of arcade games at that time did this.
What was the first one? It did
set your score back to 0.
Was Vanguard the first one? It was around this time, and I really can't recall. But so in 1980, you had Rally X, that's dodging things, and Space Panic, you're also dodging things. That was by Universal. Well, I guess you're dodging things in Pac-Man, but none of those are like this game. We really do have to take Scramble and Cosmic Avenger, but it's so... I don't know.
Can we talk about the power pellet?
Let's talk about the power pellet.
Okay, so the power pellet gives you the opportunity that we've discussed about previously with other Universal titles, where you can collect the letters to spell out extra, and you get an extra man, which is very cool. I like that about Universal games, and it seems to be a thread that is through all of them. Mr. Do and Ladybug in this game as well. I dig that. What's also interesting is that your little math muncher, Bucktooth car, turns into a fucking monster. Much like the weird-looking purple Pac-Man of Baraduke, and you can gobble up your enemies while trying to collect the letters as they flash on the screen.
Incredibly difficult to get the letters.
Incredibly difficult to get the letters and even the enemies. But what's interesting about when you collect the power-up is the song that's played, which sounds a little like this. Which, yes, is Popeye. It's the Popeye theme.
I played this so long ago, I forgot that they played Popeye, and I was like, what the hell?
Well, my wife heard me playing this game and started whistling along, and I go, just so you know, this is not a Popeye game. And she goes, what?
That's really funny. Once again, gaming companies think that they could just use any music they want.
It really was the Wild West back then.
It was.
Yeah.
It's like, nobody from music is going to play these games.
We'll just put Godzilla and Spider-Man and Batman in our game. No, nobody will get upset.
Arcades are still associated with mafia criminal underground. Fucking heroin users. You know?
Right.
Oh, I'm sorry. The heroin addicts were people that built Pong for Nolan Bushnell and Atari. True story.
Yeah.
When nobody wanted to produce Pong for him, and he said, well, we'll take it on ourselves. And he finally got a bank loan from every bank was turning him down. He had 150 orders for Pong machines. No funds for him because I guess he spent them all in the jacuzzi. I don't
That car phone he called us on.
Yeah, he still has it. He finally got Wells Fargo to give him a loan, and he went down to the unemployment office and hired all these people that didn't know shit about anything, and they were actually some heroin addicts and stuff that they were stealing the televisions that would go into the Pong machines.
Again, the Wild West.
It was really, yeah. Boy, shit, there isn't a lot more to talk about on this game.
There's a weird bonus stage too where you jump, but you don't really jump. This is no button wee action. This is just joystick action.
Yeah.
You don't hit any buttons to do anything. But there are these moments in the game where you get to the point it says jump, and you're hitting buttons like, what the fuck am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
But it just sort of propels you, and you have to land on these trampolines that are being held by dinosaurs that are in this pool of water. And then you bounce from one of these trampolines to another. I don't know how to describe the controls in this game.
That was a really fun part for me, though.
It is fun. It's, again, very challenging.
It reminded me of a lot more modern action platforming games that would come later. Even things like Mario and Sonic and, you know, those famous action platformers, and then every platformer that you did something like that on.
Right.
But that was really cool because you go up this ramp, and it's, you know, it tells you jump, and you go up this big ramp, this steep Evel Knievel ramp, and all the other dudes are leaving you alone. They stop chasing you at that point, and then you just sort of have to try to fly your way. Like you could fly like down and up and forward and backwards. Well, actually, you fly forward and backwards, and that changes your trajectory as far as when you're going to hit that trampoline. And I don't know, can you get hung up on those monsters? I always.
You can. If you hit those monsters, you die.
Yeah, I never missed any of the trampolines. I never went into the lava or whatever it is that's supposed to be down there. But I just had so much fun at those parts, and it was like such a neat little break. You feel free because you know you're this fucking freak, Snapjack, and you're like, I'm finally free. I'm free. I'm not a freak anymore with everyone trying to kill me. Oh, man.
Which I did mention, are the things trying to kill you are pyramids with a single eye, the Illuminati symbol is trying to kill you, the teapots with tongues coming out of their mouth are trying to kill you.
Yes.
Anglerfish. The anglerfish is cool. It's a big anglerfish. It comes on the screen, and it will actually eat the jellyfish that are trying to attack you.
Right.
And then there's also a sound notification when this giant fireball is going to come onto the screen.
Oh my gosh. I forgot so much about this game.
It's very much spaghetti thrown against the wall and seeing what sticks.
Basically, it's reused sprites. Yes. What I wanted to say about the making mechanics for Snapjack was every game that came out, Snapjack.
They just threw it all in.
Let's take every game, Snapjack.
A lot of ideas. Poor execution, but a lot of ideas.
But didn't you have fun playing this game?
I did, actually.
Yeah, me too.
I died a lot.
Oh, yeah.
I did like the fact that I could continue from where I left off.
Mm-hmm.
I did get frustrated as at the bottom of the screen there's these denotions of, I guess, distance. And they go all the way up to 100, and then they loop back. So the further you get, the more difficult it gets. And by the time you go past 100 and you're back at 1 and 2 and 3, it gets ridiculous as far as what they're throwing on the screen. This is very much a quarter grabber of a game and doesn't have the same strategies that you see in a Mr. Do or Ladybug. But that aside, the choices that were made in the game as far as the design of the characters, the mechanics of the game, which are extremely strange, and I've never played any game like this, kept me interested in the game. And I think a lot of people would enjoy playing this game because of that, because of the weird choices of what the enemy sprites look like and what you're doing. And you're going to die, and it's going to be challenging, but you're going to want to continue to play. And I think that, again, like I've talked about in the past, if I had a handful of quarters, I think I would have fed more quarters into this machine because I want to see what happens next. Because there are so many events that happen in this game that, I didn't expect the giant fish to come onto the screen, and I certainly didn't expect the giant fish to eat the enemies or the enemies to die when they hit into the giant fish, or the fireball, or the jump screens. So Universal doesn't disappoint. This isn't their best title, but this is definitely a title worth looking at because it is fun.
It's a very unique title that probably ripped off everything, but yet it's its own game. And I'm sorry, listeners, I honest to gosh forgot. Every time you said something about the game, I completely forgot about it. I was so hung up on how much I pitied Snapjack. I forgot about the anglerfish. The anglerfish is your friend, yet he can kill you. And when you see the anglerfish and he's giant, and you see him come on screen, you're like, thankful because all these other guys are chasing after you and that anglerfish will eat them. So you just have to avoid the anglerfish and he will be your buddy.
Right.
He's like,
and you can lure the enemies toward the
Exactly.
anglerfish by dropping down and getting behind them.
Exactly. And those little line markers at the bottom telling you that you're at 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, etc. That's what makes you want to put more money into the system. Brilliant on the part of Universal. I got this distance. Hey, maybe I can make it to 50. Maybe I can make it to 70.
What happens after 100?
Right. Brilliant. And it's also a neat thing. What was doing that before then? Like racing games, maybe?
Maybe.
But not really, There were no signs on a racing game saying, oh, you're at 100 meters. I don't know what year did Track and Field come out?
Track and Field came out in 1983.
83, and that was by Konami. But the 83, we didn't even have things about distances before then. Like even the Fonz racing game. You talk about the Fonz racing game, which I talk about all the time. It's so much Fonzie. I turn gay for the Fonz because there's so much Fonzie in this game.
Only there's none.
the side art is Fonzie, and then the rest.
Hey!
The rest is a white sort of looking motorcycle, top down view on a gray screen on this piece of plastic you sit on and look like a goof. Those you just got scores on, and the same way with race driving and other type of driving games, you only got scores. Scores were going by. You didn't have this 10-yard fight. When did 10-yard fight? I don't know when any games. When did 10-yard fight come out?
10-yard fight came out in 1983 as well.
Oh my gosh! So who made 10-yard fight? Because I fucking love that game.
Taito.
Oh, Taito made that game.
Yeah.
It's so odd that they made an American football game. Then again, that X's and O's came out. The Atari football with the roller ball that you fucking would break your fingers on because you were such a maniac trying to get your X's or O's to run around. Your SpaghettiOs. So.
SpaghettiOs.
Shoe fell off on the boggle.
There's hot dog slices by SpaghettiOs.
This might have been one of the first games where you had these markers. Let me try to think of another game where there's numbers in so that I could ask you what year they came out in.
Yeah. I'm really good at this, evidently.
Sorry, I think I sucked this episode because...
No.
Yeah, I think I did because, like I said, I just feel so sorry for Snapjack, the freak of nature Snapjack. But I think this is a game worth playing. It is Scramble. It is Cosmic Avenger. It is Vanguard, if you want to.
You know what? I like this game a lot more than Scramble, though. I do not like Scramble as a game.
It's rough.
It's rough.
All these games are rough.
Scramble, for its time, it was a pioneer for its time. Mm-hmm. But going back, it doesn't hold up. Whereas Snapjack, I think, has enough weirdness to make it palatable.
Exactly. I don't think anyone wants to go back and play Vanguard or Cosmic Avenger or Scramble. And I just want to mention Scramble, I think, goes too fast. It's very difficult for me to even play that game. But no one really wants to go back to those because so many more good shooters, especially from Konami and SNK and not Universal, but so many more good shooters came out that might have even been older shooters like Galaxian and Galaga and things like that, even back in the day then. And what was the one game? There was a game that came out in the same year as this that brought in the mechanic. Oh, actually, that was the game that also had Continue From Where You Left Off, and it was a game like Time Pilot where you could shoot in 4 different directions as you moved around. Unfortunately, I cannot think of the name of that game or the manufacturer of it, but I think that also had Continues Where You Left Off, and it was a lot like Time Pilot. Plus, there were some things from Cinematronics that came out that year. Cinematronics, another unsung hero, big into vector games, just as Universal was into raster graphic games. Right. And both of those were powerhouses as far as what filled the arcades at that time.
I would say that Snapjack as a character has as much expression as Dig Dug or Mario from Donkey Kong or Pac-Man. It's a very expressive sprite. And I think he's very appealing looking. He's he's an abomination, but he is very appealing. He's got these cartoon eyes, and he's got the buck teeth, and he's wheeling around. He's bouncing up and down. He's fun to look at. He's fun to play as. I think that yes, he holds up today more so than the games that he's ripping off. We didn't even touch on London Bridges falling down.
Oh my god!
It's another element of the game where all of a sudden it's playing London Bridges falling down, and there are bridges that are opening and closing, and yes, you fall down the bridge.
I'm telling you, I forgot everything that happens in this game.
Seek this game out. I think that you'll like this game, regardless of what type of gamer you are, what type of arcade games you like. This game is going to at least make you smile. And for me, it made me laugh at a couple different... Yeah.
It's like I never played this game, and it's like you're reminding me of I played it in my childhood instead of playing it yesterday or for the last week. It's like I just forgot everything. I want to do this show over.
There's a lot. There's a lot of stuff happening.
Yes, but the London Bridge part, that's something that doesn't happen in the other games that we mentioned. That doesn't happen in Scramble, Cosmic Avenger, or Vanguard. And it doesn't happen in Pac-Man. You know what I mean? Type of London Bridge falling down in Pac-Man.
Yeah.
Why is that happening? Why are things opening and closing? I'm telling you, man, I don't know what went into this game.
A lot of coke.
And I don't know why you chose this as a PAC-Month title either.
Well,
Does he look
what?
like Pac-Month?
He kind of looks like Pac-Man. There are the munching of the dots, and I think that he as a character was directly influenced from Pac-Man.
Yeah.
As far as the orientation of the game and what you're doing, no, it's not a maze chase game, but it is a chase game. You are being chased, and it is very much a dodge game, which, you know, Pac-Man, again, is not a dodge game, but this very much is. And it's sort of like flipping the script on what Pac-Man can be. Instead of an overhead single screen experience, this is a horizontal shooter without the shooting happening Pac-Man experience. That's the connection I made with Snapjack and Pac-Man.
Right on. 1981 was really a year where we started to get scrolling screens.
Yeah.
Because Berserk, of course, had the scroll, but it had the poor man's scrolling, as we would call it. You get to one end, and then the screen goes dirk, 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 over to the next screen.
Yeah.
Wait, Rally X had scrolling.
It did.
Yeah, okay, so that was coming in at that time. The other games I mentioned, Star Castle.
Yeah, but Rally X was still, as it scrolled smooth, but it was single screen experiences that would scroll left to right.
It was just a very large screen. Is that what you mean? Because you had the map.
Yeah,
so
right.
It was a very large screen that you could scroll all around on. Of course, I like...
And it had a little map, too, which was very ahead of its time. But we're getting off track here.
Indeed. Okay, Snapjack, it's time for one sentence review of Snapjack.
I'll go first.
Okay.
Snapjack has enough Pac-Man in it to keep it interesting.
I think we should stop doing one sentence reviews. Okay, I'm going to do one that's not, I mean, our one sentence reviews used to be pretty serious and not going for any type of humorous things. And they actually would be reviews. I think mine will be that type of thing. Okay. If you're tired of getting scrambled, why not get your jack snapped?
Oh, come on.
I think it's a little bit of both.
It was. You double dipped there.
I double dipped. That's what you will do when you get your jack snapped. I was going to say some other shit. I don't remember. You know what my problem is? I write these things on the fly. Okay, everybody. Hey, that's Snapjack. I hope that you enjoy PAC-Month. And
I did.
Let it PAC-Month pack on.
There's more happening.
There is. So stay tuned for more PAC-Month.
There'll be more happening. Waka, 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 waka.
Uh-huh.
Also, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, check out the website, wetalkgames.com/inthecan in case you want to check and see if we've already talked about one of your favorite arcade games. We probably have.
We've done a lot of Universal titles.
Absolutely.
And now we've even done 3 popular titles that you've probably heard of.
Right. Frogger,
Robotron. Yeah,
yes.
we did that Robotron 2099, WWF Superstars.
And Wall Street.
And Wall Street, one of the most well-known titles in my mind. Because I will always love Wall Street. I want a shirt that says Wall Street on the front in those mixed style lettering. And on the back, I want it to say, "This is the best game, tilde Sean Baby." That's a quote by Sean Baby, and it can apply to any game. That's why
he did say he prefers the hyphen.
I don't care. He's getting a tilde. Well, my nose is running.
Okay.
How do you stop your nose from running? Turn off your refrigerator. Drink responsibly. I hope that you like us. Bye-bye.
pizza and they put me back in high school. Yeah. All the girls come around, see how I'm doing. Going to the pocket arcade. Yeah. Everybody's there, come around and see how I'm doing. Incredible Hulk, they give me I think I had a stroke. Okay. Now here we go. Come on, everybody. Holy shit. Hold on. Hey. Gonna stand up. Gonna finally finish today. Pinky to the left, me. Pinky here to the right. Come on, Pinky. What you doing? Come on. I lost my friend. I lost my teeth. Pinky, let's go. She gave me fever. Juliet had fever. Samson had the fever. They cut Samson's hair. Samson killed 1,000 men using the jaw of an ass. And oh, Jesus Christ, what the hell? Why does somebody always call me when I'm trying to do my television? Hello? Why are you monitoring my credit? What's wrong with my credit? Oh, there's nothing wrong with my credit card. Oh, thank goodness. Yes, I'll give it to the fire department. No, I don't live in Arizona. I live in Pennsylvania. Oh, you met Pennsylvania? Okay, goodbye. Yo. Ooh, take it, boys. You can sing Poison. Damn it. Headed to my high school. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I said that before. Come on, NES. Let's go. We got a fever. Come on, Pac-Man, we're gonna have some fun. Gonna have some fun tonight. Gonna have some fun tonight. You're calling Miss Polly. Gonna have some fun tonight. You're calling Miss Polly. Gonna have some fun tonight. Predator. Have some fun tonight. Predator. Have some fun tonight. Gonna have some fun tonight. We're gonna have some fun tonight. Okay, McCray. Come on, everybody. Hey. Wait a minute. Wait. Wait a minute. I get a drink. Okay. For PAC-MONTH, I'm releasing my own pack. It's gonna you're gonna be able to get Stinky's Chopper Chase for free. Just go next week. We'll tell you about it. I'm not gonna tell you now. I was gonna tell you where to go, but it's a .com, and I don't want anybody to take it. So all of our listeners, if you made it this far, then you get a little reward. See, the characters give you rewards. That's a pro player tip. And it's called Stinky's Chopper Chase. So stay tuned for that. You will actually be able to bite a lead pipe. I'm Okay.